The sky over Sage View Bluffs was that perfect bruised purple just before winter twilight when I finally turned onto my own street. Number 42. My 4-bedroom glass fortress. Bought under a faceless LLC, so no one from my old life could sniff it out. 5 years of rice and beans dinners and a rattling Civic had bought me this silence. I had the deed in the glove box and cheap champagne riding shotgun. I wasn't planning a party. I was planning to sit on the bare hardwood and finally exhale. Then I slammed the brakes. A silver SUV sat in my driveway like it owned the place. I knew that dented bumper. And through the floor-to-ceiling glass that made my living room a literal fishbowl, I saw them. Barbara Whitaker, Sage View Bluffs HOA president, standing dead center in my empty house. Camel coat sharp as a blade. Yellow tape measure snapping across my sliding doors like she'd signed the mortgage herself. Next to her, Lisa, her daughter-in-law, scrolled her phone looking bored. And beside them, a helmet-hair blonde in a black blazer, Carla, the HOA's favorite compliance consultant, gestured at my kitchen island with a tablet like she was staging a model home. I didn't get out. Bill me my half. The new me reversed smoothly, parked around the bend behind the evergreens, killed the engine, and opened the security app I'd installed the day I closed. The feed bloomed crisp and wide. Audio crackled on. Perfect lighting for the portfolio shots, Carla was saying. Heels clicking on my floors. Mid-century staging. Listed as an executive corporate rental. Market's hot in this zip. Barbara, Karen to anyone with eyes, placed a hand on Carla's arm like they were sorority sisters. It needs to move fast. Derek's in transition. He needs the optics of success living here, even if it's just on paper. This address screams stability for his angel investors. My stomach dropped into my shoes. Derek, Barbara's golden boy son, the 38-year-old serial failure who'd burned through 3 startups and a crypto scam. They weren't visiting. They were colonizing. Lisa finally looked up. But Barbara, what if the owner finds out? She's been acting weird, distant. Carla laughed, dry and dismissive. Honey, possession is 9/10 of the law, and perception is the other 10th. Does the new owner have the stomach for a fight? Probably not. And honestly, the owner doesn't really need to know the specifics. Not yet. As long as the paperwork looks right. Just make it look legal, Barbara said, waving her hand like swatting a fly. Derek is family. The HOA is family. We share resources here. I closed the app. My knuckles were white. They had a key. No forced entry. The previous owners had moved to Florida. The realtor was reputable. Yet here they were, inside my sanctuary, measuring my windows for curtains that would never hang because they planned to turn my house into Derek's props. I waited until their taillights vanished, then drove back up. The house smelled of Barbara's floral perfume and Carla's hairspray. I stood exactly where Barbara had stood. The nausea hit, then the cold, clarifying rage. I called the security company. Emergency dispatch. All exterior locks changed. High security deadbolts. Motion sensors on every window. Audio cloud storage. I don't care about the after-hours fee. 45 minutes later, the tech was done. I sat in the dark with my rescue terrier Milo, stroking his wire hair back. We were the same, both used to crates too small and people who took up too much space. But this time I wasn't rolling over. I worked in risk management for a living. When you spot a breach, you don't panic. You fortify. And I started documenting. The next morning, my phone exploded with a new group chat, Sage View Community Project. Barbara's first message. Good morning. Sophia, I know you're overwhelmed with the move. So I took the liberty of getting a head start on HOA compliance upgrades. The bones are incredible, perfect for entertaining. We can discuss swatches this weekend. No apology for the break-in. Just gaslighting in Times New Roman. Then Carla chimed in. Hi, Sophia. Lovely property. I've drafted a preliminary proposal for an HOA-approved executive lease. If we stage by Friday, we can list for corporate clients by Monday. Attached fee schedule. Let's get coffee and sign the engagement letter. My blood ran cold. Engagement letter. They weren't asking. They were rolling a boulder downhill. My phone rang. Derek. I let it ring 3 times, then answered flat. Sophia, congratulations on the house. Bold move. Timing is spooky good. I'm between leases. That basement suite is perfect for my home office. You take the guest room upstairs. Quieter for your remote work anyway. We'll split utilities. I pay rent as soon as funding drops. I close my eyes. Derek, I'm not looking for a roommate, a tenant, or an HOA-sponsored charity case. Lisa's voice cut in on speaker. Be realistic. Sophia, you work 60 hours. You're never home. Carla says we can get $3,000 a month for the main floor alone. That covers your mortgage. You're throwing money away being territorial. I typed into the group chat. Voice steady. To everyone in this thread, let me be crystal clear. This is my primary residence. It is not an investment property. It is not a rental. It is not a halfway house for Derek. No one is moving in. No one is staging it. No one is listing it. I have changed the locks and upgraded security. Do not come to the property. Do not send movers. Any attempt to enter without written invitation will be treated as trespassing and reported. The dots danced. Barbara's reply landed like a slap. Sophia, I am disappointed. I raised, excuse me. The neighborhood welcomed you to care about community, not hoard wealth like a miser. Derek is in crisis. You're standing there with a safety net you refuse to open out of spite. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Then a second message. Colder. You think new locks change anything? You're a part of Sageview now. Whether you hide behind that LLC or not. We made this neighborhood. We own your success. If you do not open the door for Derek, we will open it by other means. Other means. I stared at the words. Barbara wasn't coming with a crowbar. She was coming with bylaws. A direct message from Carla popped up. Sophia. Family, excuse me. Neighborhood, dynamics can be tricky. Heads up. I've already pulled the preliminary title report and zoning comps for Derek's business license. We've put a lot of work in. It would be a shame to waste the processing fees. Business license. They were trying to establish residency for Derek under HOA rules so he could operate from my address. I opened my laptop and started the spreadsheet. Column A, aggressor. Column B, method. Column C, threat. I was no longer a homeowner. I was a risk manager again. And the siege was just beginning. The harassment didn't come with screaming on the lawn. It came softer, deadlier, administrative violence wrapped in community standards. Tuesday morning, my phone rang at 9. Aunt Carol, Barbara's older sister and flying monkey number 1. Sophia. Honey, Barbara called me heartbroken. She says you're having some kind of manic episode, buying a house you can't afford and refusing to let Derek help with the mortgage. I can afford the house. Derek isn't helping. He's trying to take over. Oh, stop it. Derek is a visionary. Barbara told me you changed the locks on your own HOA president. That's cruel. That's neighborhood elder abuse. We share here. When my son lost his apartment, did I close the door? No. He slept on my couch 2 years. I recorded every word. Logged it. 9:14 a.m. Emotional manipulation. Accusation of mental instability. By noon, the battlefield moved to the neighborhood Facebook group. Lisa posted a wistful photo of herself holding tea. Caption dripping poison. It's so hard when money changes people. You think you know someone's heart, but then they get a little success and suddenly community doesn't matter. Praying for soft hearts and open doors today. Some of us are building a legacy while others build walls. Family first, HOA unity. Comments flooded. Oh no. Hope you're okay. Money is the root of all evil. Is this about the new girl on Sageview? So toxic. They weren't naming me. They didn't have to. Everyone knew who just closed. Then Derek sent a Google Calendar invite titled Move-In Logistics, Derek and Sophia Cohabitation. Notes, hey sis, neighborhood style, I took the lead. Buddy with a truck at 8 a.m. Saturday, need the garage clicker by Friday. Also upgrade internet to gigabit. I need bandwidth for my trading terminal. Thanks. Love you. I declined. He resent. I declined again. He resent a third time. I blocked the email. The real gut punch came in the mailbox. Empty. I called the post office. Temporary forwarding order placed Monday to 1015 Elm Street, Derek's apartment. I canceled it online. Required photo ID for any future changes. Logged it. Mail theft. Fraudulent forwarding. I leashed Milo and walked the perimeter to remind myself the grass was still mine. A neighbor in her 60s stopped. Golden retriever wagging. You must be the new owner. I'm Brenda across the street. Welcome. Oh, by the way, are you flipping? I saw a professional woman here yesterday while you were at work. Blonde. Standing on the sidewalk with a couple. Pointing at landscaping. Talking accessory dwelling unit in the back. Handed them a brochure. My face drained. Carla hadn't just measured inside. She'd conducted viewings from a street. Brenda found the dropped flyer mashed in the grass. Glossy photo of my house. Specs. Bold text, lease to own option available. Contact Carla for HOA approved details. They were marketing my house to strangers. I slammed the door. Upgraded the cameras to 4K perimeter coverage with instant phone alerts. $3,000. Worth every penny. Wednesday night, I dove into county records. Most people think stealing a house means breaking windows. Real theft happens with rubber stamps and filing fees. I found it. Pending title search request, dated the same day Barbara stood in my living room. Requester, D. Whitaker. They were preparing to transfer or borrow against equity. Then the bank called. MS. Lang. We're verifying details on your HELIC application for $150,000. I didn't apply. We have a signed application submitted electronically notarized. The email on file, sofeelingmanagement@gmail.com, not mine. The notary, Carla Hendress. I flagged it fraud, but the machine was already moving. Carla wasn't a realtor. She was a notary who used to work at the county recorder's office. Reviews on complaint forum screamed, rushes you through signing. Didn't realize I signed a quitclaim until too late. She was the rubber stamp. Barbara and Derek were the clients. I replayed the footage. Barbara measuring windows wasn't for curtains. She was documenting square footage for a fake mechanics lien, claiming unpaid compliance upgrades they'd performed. Photos for before and after invoices. Classic HOA lien trick. Cloud the title. Freeze everything. Force a settlement. They weren't coming for furniture. They were coming for the deed. I called my attorney Marcus at 7 p.m. I'm done blocking. I want to go nuclear. Revoke any implied authority. File complaint against Carla's notary bond. Report her to the Secretary of State, and draft a preemptive affidavit of non-authorization for any work on the property. Marcus warned, that's the nuclear option. Carla will flip on them to save herself. Good. Let them eat each other. Friday night the trap was set. I sat in my living room, surrounded by the binder of evidence. Cameras rolling. Police on speed dial for 10 to 11 a.m. Drive-bys. Saturday morning, I dressed like I was liquidating a company. Charcoal blazer. Severe bun. At 10 o'clock, exactly the convoy arrived. Silver SUV. Box truck behind it. Derek directing the movers like he already owned the driveway. I stepped onto the porch. Manila envelope in hand. Smart lock remote in pocket. Stop. Derek flashed his entrepreneur grin. Sophia, don't make a scene. Movers are on the clock. Barbara pushed forward, face arranged in pained disappointment. The neighbors are watching. Dear, let's discuss inside like family. Excuse me. Like neighbors. We're discussing this as property owner and trespassers. Carla stepped up. Clipboard shield. There's been a miscommunication. We just need to formalize residency for Derek's grant. Simple affidavit. You sign. We unload a few boxes to establish use of space. Everyone goes home happy. I'll look past them. The gray sedan idling by the hydrant pulled forward. A process server got out. Behind him, Sergeant Miller's cruiser turned the corner. Color drained from Derek's face. Officer Miller approached. Is there a problem? Yes, Sergeant. These individuals are trespassing. I've asked them to leave. They've brought a commercial vehicle to unload into a residence they have no lease for. Derek blurted, I live here. I have rights. It's HOA community property. My mother has authority. Barbara fumbled in her purse. I have the bylaws right here. I opened my envelope. Officer, this is a certified copy of my grant deed, sole ownership, Sophia Lang. And this is a formal revocation of any implied HOA access rights filed this morning. Whatever document she's holding is void. Miller scanned the papers, nodded. Owner has asked you to leave. Remain on the property and you'll be cited for criminal trespass. Carla's voice cracked. We have a verbal contract, pending loan application. I looked straight at her. Officer, that woman is Carla Hendricks. I have reason to believe she is attempting to solicit a fraudulent signature. I'd like her identified for the record. Miller asked for ID. Carla's hand shook, handing it over. Lisa grabbed Derek's arm. Let's go. They're taking names. Derek spat at me. You think you won? You're nothing without the neighborhood. Just a lonely, bitter woman with a house no one wants to visit. I smiled for the first time. I'm fine with that. The process server stepped forward and thrust papers into Barbara's chest. You've been served restraining order and notice of pending civil action. Barbara clutched the papers like burning coals. You're dead to this neighborhood. I hadn't had a neighborhood in 20 years. I had a house that was finally mine. They peeled out. The truck driver yelled about cancellation fees. Derek kicked my bumper, leaving a scuff. Miller warned him once. Then they were gone. I slid down the inside of my door, Milo curling against me. The binder sat on the island like a loaded weapon. The physical battle was over. The paper war had just begun. For the next 48 hours, my dining table became command central. Hard drives, screenshots, legal pad. I distilled panic into data. Column after column of every threat. Timestamp. Violation. Monday morning, the first grenade landed. HR at work. Sophia. We received a compliance flag. A lease pendens was filed against a property in your name, alleging breach of contract and fraud. Your credit score dropped 40 points overnight. Until resolved, we have to suspend your signing authority on the Millennial Tower project. Derek hadn't just sued me. He'd weaponized the court to star me professionally. Classic HOA pressure tactic. Squeeze finances until you settle. Marcus called. They want a neighborhood meeting to discuss settlement. They'll drop the suit if you sign a constructive trust turning the house into a community asset for Derek's benefit. No settlement. Countersue. Subpoena Carla. And send a separate letter to Lisa. Inform her she's a named co-defendant in the civil RICO action we're preparing. Explain asset seizure in RICO cases. Tuesday, the neighborhood group exploded with Derek's vague booking post. Sad when you help raise someone. Protect them. Support them. Only to have them slam the door the moment they get a little success. Building an empire is hard when your own blood tries to steal the foundation. Comments poured sympathy for the visionary and venom for the new girl. But my cousin Leo, the family tech guy, liked it, then unliked it fast. I DM'd him. 10 minutes later, a screenshot arrived. Email from Barbara to Derek 2 weeks before I closed. Subject, signatures. Leo helped me scan that old birthday card Sophia sent. Cropped the cursive signature. Attached high-res file. Carla said if we have a clean sample, she can trace it onto the affidavit, so it looks natural. Make sure you practice. They've been forging my signature before I even own the house. I forwarded to Marcus. We have them. Marcus's voice spiked. That's felony conspiracy. Emergency injunctive hearing by Thursday. My review at work is Wednesday. Make it tomorrow. We sent the screenshot to opposing counsel and a draft criminal complaint to Carla with a 5 p.m. deadline. Drop the suit and sign full confession of non-interest or we file with the DA. Tuesday night, Lisa texted from an unknown number. Please don't do this. I have kids. I let her sweat. Wednesday, the Zoom hearing room split 4 ways. Judge top left. Me and Marcus top right and bottom left. Defendants crammed around Barbara's kitchen, table bottom right. Derek sweating. Barbara klucing a ruzai prop. Lisa is staring at her hands. Carla square black, audio only. Judge Patterson didn't waste time. We're hearing the motion to expunge the lease pinned-ins and the counter-motion for permanent restraining order first. Derek's lawyer stammered about verbal agreement for shared equity based on neighborhood trust funds. I click share screen. Exhibit A, wire transfer receipt, 100% my funds. Exhibit B, security logs and 10-second audio clip. Carla's voice crystal clear. The owner doesn't need to know. Just make it look legal. The courtroom went dead silent. Marcus pounced. Exhibit C, email chain showing premeditated forgery of my client's signature. The judge leaned forward. Mr. Henderson, are you aware your clients are in possession of a digital forgery kit? Derek went gray. Barbara slammed the table. This is a trap. She set us up. She owes the neighborhood this house. Derek is the firstborn. He has birthright. The judge snapped. Mrs. Whitaker, this is a 3-bedroom contemporary, not the throne of England. And birthright does not override identity theft statutes. Then the final blow came from the weakest link. Lisa looked up, tears streaming. It was Carla. Carla told them how to do it. She said she knew the clerks could slip the deed transfer into the pile on a Friday. She did it before. Carla's lawyer shouted objection. Judge overruled. Court reporter will note that statement. The alliance shattered on screen. Marcus slid the settlement agreement forward digitally. Permanent restraining order. Confession of judgment. Binding agreement never to contact my client or claim interest in her assets again, in exchange for withholding the criminal complaint. The judge looked at them. I suggest you sign, because if this lands on a prosecutor's desk, you're all going away. Notifications pinged. Derek signed. Barbara signed. Carla signed. The lease pinned-ins was expunged within the hour. Title clear. Restraining orders immediate. Case closed. I sat in the silence of my dining room. No cheering. Just bone-deep exhaustion and something solid underneath. Unbreakable. I walked to the front door. Opened it. Cool air. No silver SUVs. Just quiet suburb. Sarah pulled up. Milo shot out of the back seat. Tail wagging so hard his whole body shook. I knelt, and he slammed into me, licking my face. Hey, buddy. You're home for real this time. Inside, I placed my hand on the smart lock. Click. Final. Perfect. The living room wasn't empty anymore. I'd unpacked while waiting for court. Rugs down. Books arranged. Art I chose. Milo flopped on the deep blue rug. Head on my shin. Long sigh of a dog who no longer had to watch the door. My phone buzzed. County alert. Title status clear. Owner. Sophia Lang. I deleted the group chat. Blocked every number. Not out of fear. Housekeeping. I stroked Milo's ears and listened to the house settle. Strong. Protective. Mine. Barbara had said I'd lose the neighborhood. She tried to make a loan sound like a curse. Sitting there in golden hour light with a loyal dog and a clear title. I realized she was wrong. I wasn't alone. I was autonomous. They'd wanted to harvest me like an asset. They thought DNA and HOA bylaws gave them ownership. But a neighborhood isn't a business, and a homeowner isn't a resource. I didn't lose anything. I just stopped being theirs. And that was a price I would happily pay every single month for the rest of my life. The weeks that followed were strangely peaceful, almost too quiet, like the eye of a hurricane that had already passed. Brenda across the street started waving when she walked her golden retriever. Other neighbors left little welcome notes in my mailbox, real ones, not forged HOA propaganda. One even dropped off a bottle of wine with a card that read, "Sorry about the drama." We all saw the Zoom recording someone leaked in the group. You handled that like a boss. The recording. Someone, probably Lisa in her panic, had screen recorded the entire court hearing and anonymously posted it to the neighborhood page before the ink on the settlement was dry. By morning, the comments had flipped. Barbara always acted like she owned the place. Derek's startups were just excuses to mooch. Carla's notary license is under investigation. Good riddance. The HOA emergency meeting that followed was brutal. A petition circulated to remove Barbara as president. It passed 87%. She was voted out in under 30 minutes. Her face frozen in that same mask of pained disappointment she'd worn on my porch. Derek tried one last Hail Mary, showing up at the meeting with printed bylaws claiming family legacy rights, but the new board laughed him out of the room. Carla's notary bond was revoked the same week after the Secretary of State opened an investigation based on my complaint. Last I heard, she was selling real estate in another county under a different name, still pretending to be the helpful consultant. I didn't gloat. I just kept living. Milo and I established a new rhythm. Morning walks where he sniffed every bush like it was the first time. Evenings on the back patio watching the weeping willows sway while I sipped the champagne I'd finally opened. Warm, flat, but mine. The house no longer felt like a crime scene. It felt like the fortress I paid for. Work lifted the administrative review once the lease pendants vanished and my credit rebounded. Janet and HR actually apologized, rare in corporate America. We should have trusted you sooner. That Zoom clip made the rounds in the office too. You're back to full signing authority. The Millennial Tower project needs you. I smiled, signed the new contracts, and went back to assessing real risks instead of manufactured ones. But the sweetest moment came on a random Tuesday when I checked the county recorder's portal one last time. A new filing had appeared under Barbara Whitaker's name, a mechanic's lien filed against her own house. Someone had beaten her at her own game. Turns out Derek, desperate for cash after the angel investors saw the viral court video and ran, had hired Carla's cousin to do compliance upgrades on Barbara's property and then stiffed him. The cousin filed the lien exactly the way Barbara had tried to do to me. Poetic, darkly hilarious. I printed the page, framed it, and hung it in my home office, titled Karma's HOA Dues. Some nights, I still replay the audio clip in my head. The owner doesn't need to know, just make it look legal. I laugh now, sharp, the kind of laugh that comes from surviving a war you never asked for. Because here's the truth they never understood. The moment you treat someone's home like a communal piggy bank, you hand them the receipt for their own destruction. I kept every screenshot, every email, every court transcript in that binder. Not for revenge anymore, for insurance. Because neighborhoods like Sageview Bluffs don't change overnight. New Karens always rise. But now they know one resident keeps cameras rolling, a lawyer on speed dial, and zero tolerance for other means. Milo snores on the rug beside me as I write this. The glass walls that once felt like a vulnerability now frame the most beautiful view. My own quiet street. My own paid-off mortgage. My own life. No more group chats. No more measuring tapes. No more golden boys needing optics. Just me, my dog, and the satisfying knowledge that sometimes the smallest click of a deadbolt is the loudest sound justice ever makes.